So we are now in the last week of the festival playlist, aka the first one here in Forza Horizon 6, guys. Next week, keep in mind the trial also starts. I wanted to mention that. Before this week, you will have 3 skills: a Trailblazer, a Speed Zone, and also a Drift Zone. You also have to jump into the Spec-taculer, aka Spec Racing in PvP, but besides that, there really is not a lot of things that you have to do extra besides the championships and one of the Soni time attacks at one of the racetracks. So overall, it's honestly fairly simple. But as y'all do know, we do not waste any time here. First things first, the weekly challenge in the Ram TRX. So I'm sure everybody probably has this truck already, as you basically get it in the beginning of the game. So all you guys will have to simply do is jump into this thing and drive it. Simply leave your garage and drive this truck for around maybe 4 to 5 seconds, as it seemed to be a lot quicker than some of the other vehicles. Like last week, you kind of had to drive the car for like 10 seconds or so for that to actually register. But luckily for the Ram here, it was much faster than that one. I haven't heard of anyone having an issue or a bug with this, so it should be pretty easy to do. After that's done, you can then move over to the second part of this, which you will have to do 3 stars at danger signs with the Ram TRX. Now, guys, I would recommend putting the A build I have on this truck, as it will make this way easier. I will show you guys that on the screen. And then you will have to go to a danger sign and get 3 stars on it. Now, keep in mind, you don't have to get 3 stars for the first jump. You can get 1 star every jump if you want to. But the best danger sign I found to do this one is the Mount Fuji view. It is right here on the map, guys. Easily the best one to do. Throw on the A build I have on the truck, guys. You could spawn right where I am on this. Simply head towards the danger sign and you will easily get 3 stars the first try with no issues whatsoever.
You've arrived at your destination.
Moving over to the next part after that, though, you will have to earn 5 great wreckage skills. Now, to be honest, guys, you could pretty much go anywhere around the map here and crash into trees if you want. You really don't have to go anywhere special. All you have to do is crash into stuff. I went to this area on the map here, which I would say is probably one of the best locations to go to, at least I found anyway. But again, you could pretty much go anywhere, crash into stuff, and that's all you will have to do on this. I don't know if you have to reset the thing, as I kept hitting stuff and I got it. So I don't know if that completely matters, but just run into trees, break stuff, and you will get this done. The next part after that you will have to do is win a cross-country race in the Ram TRX. Now for this, guys, I would honestly recommend doing my B-tune on the Ram. That way you could head over and do this race, even though you could do a custom one. This race right near the big festival site was easily the best one I found to do. And again, if you guys are actually looking to have different tunes on your vehicle, if you want to buy a few different tunes, simply head into the tune thing and download them. That's all you will have to do there. You don't have to buy them again. If you have them there, you can switch between them. That's the best thing I found to do. Throwing on the B build on this truck is also fantastic, because you can use the same truck and build in the championship later on in this playlist. After that, though, the next part is the photo challenge, guys. All you will have to do is take a photo of any track toy at the spaceport area, which I'm sure everyone does know where this is, but the vehicle I did end up using was the Bach Mono. I'm sure a lot of players have a lot of these track toys anyway, so jump into any of those. Head over to the spaceport area, which is all the way on the bottom left part of the map. I'm sure everyone, again, is probably fairly familiar with where this place actually is, so simply head over here, spawn right in front of the big rocket thing with your track toy, take a photo of the vehicle with it in the background, and boom, you can move over to the next part. For the next part, though, you will then have to do the treasure hunt, which requires you to head over to the industrial area here in Tokyo City. Now, not gonna lie, guys, this can look pretty confusing, but this is by far the best route I found to get all the way to the treasure chest. It's not difficult, but I would say some players might jump off the roof or take some weird routes, but follow the way I am going here, and that is easily the quickest route to the treasure box. Once that's done, though, you can then head over and do the first seasonal championship, which is in the modern muscle, at least for the car restriction, and you will have to obviously do 3 races to get yourself a Ferrari. Now, the muscle vehicle you can use here, guys, can be a lot of different cars. I personally would recommend the Mustang Dark Horse. Try out the build I am running on this car for it to be an A700. It's honestly really good. I'm not even running TC on this thing, and it is insanely fun to race, handles very well, and you will get all 3 of these races done with no issues whatsoever. From there, though, the next seasonal championship is in a classic sports car. Now, again, you could probably run any of the classic sports cars you guys have unlocked at this point. As long as it's a C level and also a classic sports car, you can run any of them. For me, though, I did end up using kind of an odd vehicle. It's the Austin Hurley, Healy, I think that's how you say it. That's the car I chose. But again, you can choose any of the other ones if you guys have that thing unlocked. It really kind of depends on a preference thing on these cars, as they all pretty much do work. Either way, though, with some of the ways the AI are, you might end up struggling in some races or having to restart. But either way, though, this championship is fairly simple to do. Moving over from there, though, the final championship you will have to do is pickups and 4x4, and of course it is B level. As I did say earlier, guys, throw on the B level I did have on the TRX, jump into that. Easily my favorite truck to use on a lot of B levels. In fact, it's kind of one of my go-tos for any of these races. It's honestly fairly simple. There's 3 of the cross-country style races you will have to do. Obviously watching out for the AI because I don't know what they're on in some of these off-road events, but my goodness, they're kind of weird. Either way, though, the races are pretty easy to do. The TRX is an absolute monster in B, especially in this category. And then moving over to the next part, we will then have the time attack. This will have to be done at the Soni time attack track in a Japanese A-leveled vehicle. So you guys will have a pretty big choice here. But to be honest, my favorite car for this, without a doubt in my mind, is the Honda Civic Type R. Of course, the new one, by the way. That is the biggest reason I wanted to point out here. You could run the old one, but the new Honda Civic Type R, personally, is one of my favorite cars in real life anyway. I love the body design on it. And this thing is incredibly good in A rank as well. So it is honestly a very solid car. So for me, it was easily my go-to for any of these A type of like Japanese vehicles that you have to use in this. I always try the new Civic, as it seems to be very good, guys. I got it done first try, no TC or anything like that around the track. Spawn a little farther back, hit the track up, and you should get this one done honestly fairly easy, as again, the Type R is just a great car. After that, though, the next thing is the speed trap here at the Shibuya crossing. Now, I would say this one might end up being fairly difficult for one easy reason: the traffic, okay? They will definitely get in the way. The car I did end up using the same build as the Soni Attack guys, the new Honda Civic Type R. Trust me, it can easily get this done with no issues, but again, the biggest problem is the traffic probably getting in the way, or depending on the line you want to take, you may have to rewind a few times in order to get it absolutely perfect, but trust me, this car is great for this and the Sony Time Attack.
You've arrived at your destination.
Once you're done with that, though, you can then head over to the drift zone, once again in a country, Japan, and a restricted vehicle. For this, though, I was like, you know what, maybe I should try a different car. I did end up using the GR Supra, the new one. I did have a build on this car, guys, that honestly made this very easy to do. I kind of was tweaking it a little bit. I tried something else. I then did add the drift tires and suspension, and then decided to try this again after the other build I had was not really set up for drifting, so I'm like, yeah, let me go change that a little bit. I did end up turning off my TC, as I would recommend doing that. It makes the car spin around super easy. Funniest part is I got over 90,000 points on this, literally with no issues whatsoever. So I would recommend trying out the Supra if you guys are struggling on this one.
You've arrived at your destination.
And then for the last type of skill thing, we'll have a Trailblazer. For this, though, you will have to use, once again, an A-rated Japan vehicle. Now, I thought about the first week, and well, wait a minute, I do have an off-road build on the 2018 Honda Civic Type R. Let me try this one out, and let me tell y'all, it was worth every bit of it. Try this build out on the Civic Type R if you guys have not. It is very good. I was actually kind of surprised. I got a lot of positive feedback on this build from the first week that we had in this game. And let me tell y'all, it got this done with no issues. And the funniest part is, it beat it with a lot of time to spare as well. So if you guys are struggling, try out the Civic Type R on this. With this build, you will not have any issues. And then finally, the last thing you will have to do for the first month of the festival playlist here is simply jump into Spec Racing and get 3 ultimate clean racing skills. Now, this might honestly sound difficult, but to be real, the easiest way to do it is simply don't crash into people. Like, that is literally all you will need to do, guys. Jump in there, get the races done, don't crash into people. You will see the skill pop up. I did end up doing 3 races. Funny part is, I did end up winning the championship, and I gotta admit, Spec Racing is honestly really fun, but I would say this is going to be fairly simple to do, watching out for rammers and simply staying away from people, or of course crashing into them. You will easily get the clean racing skills with no issues whatsoever. I would probably say, guys, you might even be able to get this in one race, as it's honestly not that difficult to do. Overall, though, that will pretty much wrap it up for the first month of the festival playlist here in Forza Horizon 6, and I gotta admit, I'm looking forward to seeing how the trial is next month, as I'm really wondering how that's going to play out with how the AI is, but also how many points you will be able to get now, as I'm thinking it should be increased a bit.